What is up, guys? Welcome to the ThinkComputers Weekly Tech Podcast. This is episode 313, and our podcast is brought to you by Amazon. If you go to thinkcomputers.org/Amazon and happen to purchase something, that gives a little kickback and keeps the podcast ongoing. With me is my co-host, Ryan. What's going on?
Not much. What's going on? I just realized I'm wearing the same sweatshirt I wore last week. I came downstairs and it was cold.
It's been a week
down there.
So
It has, I know, but
yeah, it's been a week. So
it's crazy that I'm wearing a sweatshirt because yesterday I turned the air conditioner on in the house because it was like almost 90 degrees outside last night, and then it's like 50 something out and it's supposed to be freezing tonight.
Yeah, we just had that heat wave here, like in San Diego. So it's been like average of like in the 70s, and then like it got so warm it was like over 100 degrees here, and then it just went,
Crazy.
It went back down. But before we get into anything, happy birthday, Ryan.
Oh, yeah,
it was your birthday a couple of days ago. Was it not?
Yeah. Friday.
A big milestone birthday. Do you want to tell everybody how old you turned?
Well, it's funny. Someone came by my office today at work, and they're like, "Oh, hey, it was your birthday. How old did you turn?" And I said, "Oh, just guess. Like, I want to hear what you say."
Yeah.
And she was like, 29.
There you go.
I was like, "Oh, all right, I'll take 29." No, I turned the big 40. So,
do you feel any different? That's a milestone. That's a big one.
It was a big milestone.
I feel like you look. Here's the thing about Ryan that nobody understands is that one, he looks so young, and two, he eats like the worst garbage food, but he's so skinny. Like, I have to work out and like run and like go to the gym to like maintain this like average looking body. And like when we're at CES, Ryan's just like, he's like has all this candy and all this crap and all this stuff, and he's like skinnier than me with like, he's like, yeah, I never work out. I'm like, what's going on? So
I don't know.
You do look.
I'm doing something right. I don't know.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Nope, just another day. So
yeah. Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure. We have a bunch of people in the chat already. Yeah. We have John Paul Bacon, and we have Funky Kid. I assume that's Winston. Good to see you. You're now in our time. Well, you're in my time zone. You're on the West Coast. You're in Canada now. So hopefully you show up to our live streams more often. Of course, we have Jim from Home Gadget Geeks. He's here as well, saying happy birthday to Ryan. So good to see everybody here in the live chat. If you guys do want to follow along, we do have our full show notes page that you can follow along and see all the articles and things that we're going to be talking about this week. And you can click through as kind of I will click through as well. To start things off, To start things off with the reviews this week, we have a really, I should have picked this up. I don't want to go get it, but really awesome M.2 drive. And for the most part, M.2 drives, especially now, considering most motherboards come with integrated M.2 heatsinks, we don't see like the initial kind of first round of M.2 SSDs. Like they had these really cool heatsinks on them and all this stuff. We don't see that as much anymore. But MSI just came out with their M480 or their Spatium M480 Play, and it has to be one of the best looking M.2 drives that I've ever seen. Comes with this awesome integrated heatsink, as you can kind of see here. We'll go and look at some more pictures here. Like I said, it's just a sexy looking drive. I mean, like I don't know. What do you think about it? I know. Everybody, listen. Everybody, Ryan hates this MSI Dragon logo for whatever reason.
Outside of that, I love it. Like, yeah, no, I like the two-tone look. It's pretty minimalist and functional as well, right?
Yeah. So MSI already had a Spatium M480, I believe, the original. And the M480 Play is more geared towards people with a PlayStation 5 that, of course, want to add more storage. This drive is 100% compatible with PlayStation 5. One of the requirements is that it has to have a heatsink, so that's why you have a heatsink here. But it's super fast. So it's a Gen 4 drive, uses the Phison E18 controller. That controller is kind of like the standard for most companies who are going to come out with a high performance Gen 4 drive, unless they have their own controller, which would be like a Western Digital or a Samsung. But pretty much everybody else is using this controller. And it does a really good job. We'll jump ahead here to our testing, or we'll do our comparative testing. And you can see that this drive is one of the fastest out there, getting around 7,000 megabytes a second read in Crystal Disk Mark, and just like 6,900 megabytes a second write in Crystal Disk Mark, which is super, super fast. That's like 7 gigabytes per second transfer speed there. And you can see how it does an out of disk benchmark. And the writes on this is just really, really fast.
Yeah, they're really quick.
Some of the best writes that we've seen. And then you can see the full system benchmark from PC Mark 10. It does a really good job. One of the fastest drives that we've ever tested. It doesn't overheat, obviously, because of the heatsink. No overheating issues. I do like it too, because again, it is geared towards PlayStation 5 people more than PC people. I would say that when you get it, it comes with a heatsink already attached. Like, you don't have to build it or put it together. Some other M.2 drives kind of come like that. Like, it comes with an external, the heat sinks in a different package, and you got to kind of build it and put it together. For PlayStation 5 people, that just makes it super easy. It's ready to go out of the box. Super easy to install on PlayStation 5. MSI actually has a video that we included in the review that kind of shows you how to install it. I don't have a PlayStation 5, so I didn't test it on PlayStation 5, but it should be, it should go right up to spec. No issues at all. This one is the 2 terabyte, which we reviewed, sells for $330 on Amazon. So it just, it has a little bit of a premium, but again, you are paying for the heatsink and all of that. But again, it's one of the fastest drives like you can buy right now.
Sure.
7,000 megabytes a second read, 69 megabytes a second write. I mean, that is incredibly fast. So I think it's a really good drive. I gave it a 10 out of 10 and a recommended award. It also does come with a 5-year warranty, and you can get it right now in 4 terabyte versions. A lot of drives, they'll be available like 500 gig, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte. And then like the 4 terabyte is like 6 months later. You can get the 4 terabyte now. So I really like this drive. I think it's an excellent drive, whether you're doing, you're going to get it for PC, whether you're going to get it for PlayStation 5. It is an awesome drive. And I think this heatsink, if you have a motherboard that doesn't have integrated heatsink, this is going to look excellent in your system as well. So yeah, check out my review. It's like I said, I really like this drive. So we got to get you one of these super fast Gen 4
I know,
ones.
but now I'm just like holding off for a new build. So,
well, yeah, we got new AMD stuff coming down the hatch. We got new Intel stuff probably towards the end of the year as well. So it'll be pretty exciting for you. But yeah, Ryan took a look at an audio product, and I'll let him tell you a little bit about it.
Yeah. So we looked at the Creative Soundblaster X4, kind of an updated version of the X3 that you looked at a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's an external sound card and headphone amplifier. So gonna provide, and I kind of talk about this in the review. We've gotten so used to like pretty good audio on our motherboards that I was like, when's the last time I even thought about a sound card, let alone an external one? But you also have this other, group of users that may have a laptop that just has a integrated sound that's not great, or maybe you're not happy with the features that you have or the connectivity options you have on your motherboard's sound solution. So Creative has their X4, which supports their Super X-Fi surround sound options, which is when paired up with a supported SXFI headset or speaker system, just has some amazing surround sound performance that we CES 2020. It just like blew us away. You pair that up with an app on your phone to kind of do some mapping of your ears visually and in audio form, and that kind of customizes that for an even better experience for you. But moving along here, we've got a USB Type-C powered device, and it also comes with an optical cable for connecting this like to a standard AV receiver for a home theater. So if you want to bring media in from another source and get it over to it, you can do that with this optical cable that's provided. So that's pretty nice that it is compatible with that. Pretty much the same layout as the X3. You just kind of have this like square device with a round control knob that's multifunction. So, obviously that's going to control your volume, mute your speakers. You can also mute your microphone from the buttons on the front of the unit here. You can kind of adjust some audio balance. So if you have multiple sources that you would like to control, say you're playing a game and have Discord going, if you want to up your Discord volume and lower the game volume or vice versa, you can go into the audio balance function right from the device itself and kind of adjust that balance without having to go into Creative's software to make those changes. So that's pretty awesome. And each one of these buttons is multi-function as well. So if you tap it and tap it again, it's gonna cycle through some things. But if you hold them down, it kind of goes into another menu and allows you to adjust as needed. Supports a headset with microphone or just a plain headphones, as well as a microphone for connectivity there. Out back, let's see here. Yeah, so we've got our surround sound options here, 3.5 millimeter connections, line and optical in connection, and of course our optical out. And I was pretty impressed with this thing, to be honest. Number one, setup is super easy. You just plug it in with the included USB cable. Windows recognizes it. Give it a couple minutes to do its thing, and it's good to go. And you can use it just like that out of the box. You don't even have to add any additional software from Creative. However, I definitely recommend getting the additional software because it unlocks a lot of additional features and settings that you're not going to get just using the buttons and knob on the device itself. So I kind of go through a run through of the device itself. Tons of options for enabling, like I said, SXFI for the surround sound options. You can adjust the equalizer. Smart comms is a way to kind of adjust your background noise cutout, not only from you but from someone you might be in a video call with, like a work meeting or something. It can cut the background noise out of their audio coming to you, which is pretty cool as well. Scout mode allows you to enhance some audio for positional accuracy in games. So picking up on things like footprints and footsteps, things like that, to kind of get a little better positional audio on your enemies is pretty awesome. And you can set this to a hotkey, which is really nice because you may not want it on all the time in a game. It may be too distracting, but you get down to that point where it's you and another team or a couple teams and you're really trying to pinpoint where they're at. Being able to use that hotkey to turn it on and off is a pretty nice feature. Has some additional volume and device mixing options, supports up to 7.1 surround sound, virtual surround sound, and physical surround sound. So I tested this with 2 sets of headphones, the Corsair Virtuoso Wireless SEs, but I use them in wired mode because obviously I've got to have that connection to the X4 as opposed to using the wireless connection for the headset. So I'll get into that in just a minute here as far as that feature. But no, I was pretty happy with this, honestly. I've been using it quite a bit in my latest Apex gaming, and I feel like I do have a better handle on audio. I was playing some this weekend to just kind of wrap up this review and playing with some randoms, and I just felt like I was just on my game so much quicker and easier, especially with having to do with audio, like hearing where someone was on the other side of a wall and figuring out which route I was going to take to meet up with them and hopefully take them out. So tons of options here for enhanced sound. Makes me definitely rethink, do I just want to use the onboard sound that's coming from my motherboard? Or even in this case, going back to a wired headset when I've been using a wireless headset for so long to get these enhanced surround sound features. Now, that's kind of like the one drawback that I had for this device is I can't use my wireless headset with it. You know what I mean? And get all the benefits of it. So you got to kind of pick and choose there. But I think if you're like really a competitive gamer and want that extra advantage, you'll go with the wired headset mode to get that advantage for you there. So I just want to, let's see here, the pricing on this. Yeah, currently $140 at Amazon, which I think is a pretty awesome price. Not only for just like the functions and features that you have, but it's portable and is compatible with multiple current gen consoles. So if you wanted to take this with you to get better audio out of like your Nintendo Switch or something, it's compatible with that, and you can get better audio with that, or your PlayStation. So yeah, give it a 9 out of 10. Really happy with it, honestly.
I see. I think that one of the biggest things is that's why I switched back to these headphones as well. Is I had the same wireless headphones that you do, the Corsairs,
Right.
and these have better positional audio than the Corsairs, and that's why I went back to these. And these are wired. But yeah, I think one of the biggest things when it comes to audio is if you are, and we're not like professional gamers, right? Like we're not playing in tournaments or anything like that, but like we like to win, and I think everybody likes to be good or play well. And in FPS games and a lot of games, positional audio is extremely important. And the fact that this device gives you that, it gives you a ton of other options beyond that. I messed with the smart comms kit when I reviewed their what was that little device, that other creative device had the smart comms kit, which was really great for like Skype calls. It can take the background noise out, it does all that stuff. Like this is like a complete package for audio on your PC or other devices that it's also compatible with. And it's small enough too. I mean, it's not like super small, but I mean it's small enough that you can throw it in a laptop bag or whatever.
Yeah, it's not tiny, but it's not enormous either. Doesn't weigh a lot. Throw it in your bag.
So I like the X3. The X4 kind of expands on that and gives you even more functionality. And I think the kicker is if you're in that kind of creative ecosystem and you have the Super X-Fi headset, you'll really enjoy this. I would say for people who have never tried that tech, it is absolutely amazing. It is the best audio tech that I've had a chance to experience like in person. So if Creative makes a bunch of headsets that will work with the X4, the X3, and a bunch of their other devices. So if you kind of pair those two together, then you have like the ultimate, not even for gaming, just like for watching movies and music, everything. It's just, So awesome product. Be sure to, of course, check out Ryan's review. And that brings us to Case Mod Friday. And we have a scratch build, which is a very good scratch build because you think it would, when you look at this build, you think it's in like somebody just modified a case, but it's completely scratch build. Oops, I got to bring it up. There we go. This is the AL26.982 build from Mayhem Mods. I like this one. It's one, I like it because
the fact is its scratch build is insane.
Yeah, so all of this is all made out of aluminum, all custom cut. I've seen a couple that kind of have this sort of theme, but I really like this. I think not enough people are doing this sort of angled graphics card that like where you would make a custom bracket that kind of covers the bottom half of your motherboard. I actually really like this, and we've seen a couple builds in the past year or so that kind of do this, but I think it's not used enough. So I think that's really cool. The entire front is a res. You can see without the lights on, but the entire front here is like a res. We have great water cooling in this. Get some closer up shots of the water cooling. You can see that graphics card there. Again, custom holes cut for all of the cables for the power. I love that for the power supply. Alpha cool water cooling parts, which is always good to see on there too. Just some really, like, again, and the fact that it's all custom made. There's a bracket on the, or not a bracket, but like they put this on the back, which is
all cool. The lines. It's just crazy. It does look like a pre-made case that they've just modified. But I think it's a good job.
Yeah, very good job. Because somebody did this. There's a build that looks very similar to this, but it was done in a course, like a
I know, because I saw this when you posted it, and I was like, I swear we just did this case, and I was like, is this a mistake? And then I realized, oh no,
no, it's
different
just,
build.
Yeah, scratch build. Very, very cool looking stuff though. I mean, it actually is pretty simple, honestly. Like there's a res, there's a radiator, like, you know what I mean? Like it's simple, but it's not, if that makes sense. You know? Old man in the chat, he goes, that graphics card has a lean going on, like riding in a low rider and trying to look cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just like it. We've seen some people do that. It's a little different.
I think Cooler Master, don't they make a bracket that allows you to angle your card?
I don't know. I know they make
Okay.
I know they make a vertical bracket. I'm not sure if they make another one, but like I said, I like this build. I like the aluminum. I do like the color on this too. Like the silver of the aluminum with the green, I think looks really good. And then of course you have RGB fans and RGB strips, so you can kind of, you can see like they went with the blue, or you can go with the orange. It all can kind of do.
And that under lighting and backlighting on all the pieces too, the edge lighting. Yeah, it looks awesome.
All custom done. Really, really cool. So definitely check this one out. This is again from Mayhem Mods. And of course, like I always say, we have our full section of Case Mod Friday builds. So tons and tons and tons of builds to look through. But yeah, real quick, before we get into the news, we are still doing our gift card giveaway. So we hit 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys for that. That's awesome. So we wanted to give back to you guys. So we're giving away a $50 gift card. Like I said, we have examples of Amazon, Steam, Xbox, iTunes, but as long as I can buy you like an online gift card and send it to your email or however that works, or if I get the code and I can send it to you, super easy to enter. And we do all of our giveaways through Gleam. So you just put in your info, and then you're just like, after you initially enter, there's 12 more ways to enter after that, like subscribing to us on YouTube, or, following us on Twitch and all that other stuff. So super simple. This is worldwide contest. So wherever you're at, you can be entered to this one. So get your entry in on that. And the link for that is in the show notes. For those looking for the link, or if you just go on the website, I'll show you real quick. You just click on contests at the top, and then it should be it's the first one right here. So if you guys want to get in on all of that, and that brings us to news this week, and not a whole lot going on, but some interesting stuff. First, the guys over at Hot Hardware had Tim Peterson from Intel on there, and he was like sort of showing a full-size Intel Arc graphics card. Like we haven't seen one. We've seen like leaked, but this is like somebody from Intel, and he was like holding it below the camera, but you were able to see, like, it's so hard to see, but like this bottom half, and you can see in this picture that it features 3 8-pin power connections, 3 8-pin EPS connectors. And are those 250 each, or those 300 each?
I think they're not 300, are they?
No, I think they're 250 each, right? I could be wrong, but in any case, first time that's kind of been, but from the layout of the card, it looks like it's just like an
8-pin is a 150.
Okay, so that would be I can't do math.
450.
Yeah, 450. So at least 450 watts on this card. And obviously looking at the spacing, you can kind of see the spacing in this picture, that this is definitely like a prototype card. This is not like a retail, because they would never be that far apart, you wouldn't think. So yeah, it kind of makes you wonder kind of, what they're working on, what the card is going to be. I mean, at least 450 watts to go into there. So, well, plus 75
plus
from the
board power.
Yeah, 75 from the board. So yeah, pretty interesting. I just want to see one of these cards, right? Like I just want to be able to kind of see what it looks like. But we're not super far off, but I mean, we're end of the year far off, I would say, from this. So definitely something to keep in mind. And I don't know. I'm always the one that's like, let me see it. I just want to see it, and then I'll, but this is, that could be like a prototype that they're not even going to use, or whatever that may be. Oldman asked in the chat, are they releasing in pre-built first? We don't know. We don't know. The way they're hyping it up, it doesn't seem like it, right? Whenever the Arc Alchemist discrete graphics cards come out, you would think, because again, the way they're hyping it to compete against NVIDIA and AMD, and from everything that we've heard, you would think that
I think you'd want to get it into builders' hands as quick as possible.
Yeah,
or at least initially.
I don't think they'll be in pre-builts. I mean, we could be wrong, right? But I just don't think it's going to be something like that. But obviously, as we get closer to that, we'll definitely let you guys know. Talking about Arc GPUs, somebody got their hands on a laptop that has the Arc A350M. If you guys aren't familiar, Intel is launching their mobile Arc graphics cards first. You'll find those in laptops. And was it last week we went, or was it the week before? Was it last week or the week before? We went over all of the Arc mobile chips. So if you're interested in that, you can check that episode out. We also have it on the site. You guys can find information on those. But the lowest end one, which is the Arc A350M, was tested. And it's not as powerful as a GTX 1650, which is like what you would find in a lot of laptops that want a discrete graphics card, but like nothing crazy. This is a 1080p system. It's, you're going to get that discrete graphics card, but it's not going to be anything that you're going to be playing 4K games with. You're not going to be playing super high and
yeah, it's going to go into a budget system for sure.
Yeah. So somebody did get, again, this, and it was tested on a Samsung laptop that had a Core i5 1240p Alder Lake chip in it. And looking just at like these results here, you can kind of see, just like in TimeSpy and in Firestrike, it's better than NVIDIA's MX450, which again was like the standard kind of super low end graphics that you would get. And then you can see in both of these tests, the Arc A350M, it does obviously considerably better, but it's not as good as the GTX 1650. It does consume far less power than the GTX 1650.
That's what I was going to say. It seems to be a bit more efficient, however, than
so the GTX 1650 consumes 50 watts, while the Arc 350M consumes 30 watts. So, for the lowest end part, it's not, I don't think it's horrible. Again, more power efficient means you're going to get more life out of your laptop, obviously. So I like that. We'll see as more of these come out. We'll get this is kind of like leak stuff. Like, this laptop was not supposed to be obviously tested. As we get these laptops coming out, Intel did say that the laptops featuring these graphics chips will ship by the end of the second quarter. So for those who kind of, if you're in the market for a new laptop, you kind of see these new graphics cards from Intel, and you're like, I'm gonna wait. I don't know. Should ship by the end of the second quarter. Of course, the big one being the Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro. And a lot of people are waiting for the A500 series, which is the next kind of jump up from the A300 series. I will be really interested to see, as like we get, 3, 4, 5 different laptops with these in there. And then, one of the notebook review, I think it's like notebookreview.com, does really good in-depth laptop reviews. Some of those get that in some of those really good reviewers, and kind of see what this stuff does. You know what I mean? Because if they can make it competitive, and of course, if it's an Intel CPU going with an Intel, I always say this, but they should but if they bundle that together, give it a better price to the consumer, be a good thing as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so we'll kind of see how all that shakes out. Another talking about another leaked review, the AMD Ryzen 7 5800X3D appeared in a couple different benchmarks recently. The first one was in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and they tested it against 12900K, of course, using the same type of the exact same hardware in each system. It was able to hit around 200 FPS, whereas the 12900K hits 190 FPS, and that's kind of what AMD wants, right? AMD wants to say, hey, if you're gaming, this is going to give you the best FPS possible, right? So you can kind of see that it's definitely doing that. And again, this is not the highest end part from
No,
AMD
I think
either.
it did better than that. The 5800X3D did 231 FPS. The 12900K.
Oh yeah.
Did less. So anyhow, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But the same people, I think it's this gaming group, they released more, like they released a lot of tests to kind of see what the Xano gaming. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but they released so many more tests that you can kind of see, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Here's the Ryzen 7. Here's the, and I do like it that they test this. Like they're both tested on DDR4, not DDR5, and you can kind of see just the straight difference. This one get the average FPS of 181 frames per second for the Ryzen, and the Intel is 164.
I would be curious though to see what those results look like with DDR5, because that kind of would help show, hey, the advantage of moving to Intel and DDR5, right, as opposed to, hey,
but you can
doesn't have it, right?
You can get DDR4 Z690 motherboards. So,
right.
Yeah. So, then in Metro, a lot closer, obviously. The Intel actually beats it in that by 1 FPS. And F1, Intel beats it again by 1 FPS. And Death Stranding, Ryzen beats it by about 10 FPS. So very close. I think it's obviously just like when we review graphics cards, like there's some games that are going to perform better on AMD graphics cards as compared to NVIDIA graphics cards, and vice versa. But I think AMD is going to say, hey, we have the fastest gaming processor. And I think that if you are mostly a gamer, this would make sense for you, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just glad that we have this back and forth dethroning, of fastest gaming GPU, because we didn't have it for the longest time, and I feel like we've been able to talk about them going back and forth, which is just awesome that we have two options there for the highest end product for gaming. And
it's cool because it's like, obviously a processor is supposed to be multifaceted, right? You can do this, this, and this, and this, but there are just people that are just strictly gamers. Like, what's going to give me the best edge for gamers? And it's always been the highest end part, but that highest end part isn't necessarily like the 12900K is not made just for gaming. It's made for all of these other things. Whereas, like the 5800X3D is definitely, you can do a lot of other stuff with it, but its main focus is gaming, and you can kind of see that in these results, obviously.
Sure.
And they have a full, I believe if you go to their website, they have like a full all the ton of different tests. We didn't put them all on there, But they have like a ton of different tests. We have it linked if you guys want to check it out. But they have a bunch of, gaming benchmarks, all that kind of stuff that you guys can check out. So if you're, if you want to really see what this processor can do, definitely check out their review. So yeah, very, very cool stuff there. This next story I think is awesome. I saw this and I was like, what the heck? So Steam Deck been out for a while. Were you interested in getting one? Did you talk about getting one or no?
No.
Yeah, it was. I like the idea, and I like that because we've seen these portable gaming machines
right, they're just so tiny.
Yeah, it's great, and we've seen. It's good to see a really big company. I mean, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Steam, right, or Valve. But for me, I just don't play enough games. But a lot of people have obviously, they think the little machine is great. It's a great little machine, I think. But the guys over at ETA Prime, they were able to connect, because it is a PC. It's a functional PC. It's not just they were able to connect a full size RX 6900 XT to the Steam Deck, and it worked. Was kind of interesting. So the only way to connect the 6900 XT to this is through the M.2 slot.
Okay.
On the Steam Deck, and I believe that meant that they had to boot the operating system from SD card. I believe that's how they did it, because I believe again, I could be wrong. I don't know that much about the Steam Deck, but I do believe that there is an M.2 drive in there, and that is to be used for like the OS and all that kind of stuff. But they boot that off of the SD card, and they use this contraption, which takes your PCI Express to M.2, and they installed that on there, and that's how they kind of got everything up and working. And they ran, 3D Mark, and obviously it crushed it compared to the iGPU. And this is just, obviously the 6900 XT is being bottlenecked by the hardware that's on the Steam Deck, because you're not going to you're being bottlenecked for sure. Do
you think there's any bottleneck with the M.2 connection as well?
Yeah, probably. I don't know what
what it's speeded, right? What that runs at.
What it runs at, but there's definitely bottlenecks happening. But I mean, you can see this is about like the 3D Mark times by, it's like 10 times faster.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Maybe because they wanted to kind of discourage people from kind of doing this whole thing. But like, if this would have had a like a Thunderbolt port on it,
you could a way to dock it and use an eGPU. Absolutely.
Yeah. So maybe they kind of wanted to kind of discourage that, possibly. I don't know. But yeah, so they were able to do it, run the test. They actually do show it in this video. So again, we have the video linked. They show how they did it, and then they show like actual gaming on it, using the GPU.
Yeah, I think I saw it say that they had to boot off an SD card. And Old Man said, that they couldn't get NVIDIA cards to work with it.
So there's no drivers yet for the Steam Deck for what's it called? There's no drivers on either side, actually, for the Steam Deck for AMD or NVIDIA. But because the Steam Deck is based off of an AMD part, the Radeon cards like natively work with it. You know what I mean? That's what, like I said, it's super cool. Just a cool little, and again, we've talked about, it's been a couple of weeks in a row. We've talked about these like different kind of hacks and cool things that you typically don't see anymore, and we're kind of seeing them come back. And I think the Steam Deck has opened a lot of possibilities for different homebrew hacking, things that again you don't see as much anymore these days, and I think it's super cool. So definitely check us out. And again, the guys over at ETA Prime did an excellent job on this and their video. We have it linked in the article, but definitely check that out as well. And then these three new mice from SteelSeries. I think the one is we definitely have to talk about, because we reviewed some some mice over the years that have a ton of buttons, and these new ones. So they announced 3 new mice to their like super lightweight series, which I have one of them right here. The Aerox 9 wireless, the Aerox 5 wireless, and the Aerox 5. The one that I really want to talk about is the Aerox 9, which, that's not a big picture. Let's see if we can go to the website and see it. But I believe it has 12 buttons on it. Let's see if we can bring up Still series. Yeah.
12's a lot. Like,
why is this in Portuguese? Oh, why am I going to BR?
You're going to the Brazilian site. Apparently.
Why does it think I'm in? Okay, there we go. Anyways, so the Aerox 9 wireless, 149. It has, look at all these buttons on this.
12 buttons.
Yeah, that's like your MMO mouse. That's your WoW mouse.
Yeah, that's
and it's only 98 grams, I think, or 89 grams for all those buttons. That's
89 grams, and a battery, and that's
89 grams with the
impressive.
battery. Yeah, and I'm a big fan of I have the Aerox 3 wireless in the Ghost collection, which, if you're not, like, it's one of the coolest looking mice that I've ever. Yeah, super cool, super lightweight. But this one, I'd say, is if you're like an MMO gamer and to have the lightweight feel, have it be wireless, and have all those buttons, I think is pretty awesome. Would you pick this up if you do you still play WoW or no?
I have a subscription. I haven't played in probably I don't know, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, so like, would you use this for WoW?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's the one thing that I didn't like the Corsair MMO mouse. I forget the name off the top of my head. Like, it was so heavy. It just was too clunky. Yeah. I've gotten so used to a lightweight mouse that yes, I would definitely use this.
Yeah, so pretty cool. So they have this one, and then they have the 5 wireless, which is this one, and I believe the 5 is just a bigger version. But yeah, I mean, the 5 even has. Let's go back.
You know, do they have a wired version of the 5?
Yeah, so they just have the Aerox 5. So
I'm thinking that, like, getting that for normal gaming, because like I'm just thinking
like the wire though. Why wouldn't you get the wireless?
I guess it's really not that much heavier. It was like this 74 compared to 66.
Yeah, I would prefer the wireless.
But those extra thumb buttons, I'm just like already going into my head. I'm like, all right, so I've got my tactical, my ultimate, my heals, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you get that's not a button. That can't be a button.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So you have 4 buttons on the side, which is pretty nice. Especially what. No, there's 4.
Did they give you a 5th one?
No. Why are you saying 5? Why are you saying 5th?
I don't know. I thought it coincided with the name. Sorry.
Oh no. So like so it goes from 3, 5, and 9 as far as just like the series. But yeah, so you get you could do a lot with these. It all depends though. Sometimes when they put this thumb one too far up,
it's hard to get.
It's hard to reach. So but maybe if you can click like in this section right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that could possibly be good. But yeah, these are really cool. The wireless one is 139. The non-wireless one is 79. 9 buttons. This one's 74 grams. The wired one is 66. And then on the other side, the 9 has 12 buttons. Only coming in wireless, at least currently. And that one is 86 grams and is $149.99. And then SteelSeries has some of the best software. If you've never used it, they have really great software to customize everything. And there's tons of profiles for all the game, like all your favorite games. Like, they do a really good job. But I thought these were really cool. Just, we've gone to like super lightweight, like just no buttons. And now we're getting to like the MMO mice that are going to be super lightweight, which I think is great because you typically don't see that. So very cool stuff there as well. And that's wraps up our news for this week. Coming next week, I have a big boy EATX motherboard, and I'm pretty pumped for it. It's super sexy looking. It is the MSI Meg Z690 Ace. This thing is a beast. It basically has everything that you want on the Z690 platform, plus some. I believe there's 1, 2, 3. There's 5 M.2 slots on this thing.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I didn't know. Anytime I review a motherboard, I really don't look it up until I'm actually look up the specs. But then I was taking pictures of it the other day, and I took off all these M.2 covers, and there's one here, there's 2 here, and then there's 2 down here. It's pretty awesome. You have Wi-Fi 6E, dual Thunderbolt 4, dual 2.5 gig LAN, dual USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 by headers on the front. It has everything.
It's decked out for sure. Yeah.
And so I didn't know this because we talked about this with the Asus boards. Is that the M.2 slots? I'm seeing if they don't have pictures of it. The M.2 slots have the little latches, so you don't.
So you don't have to do the screw. Nice.
Yeah. So they have that as well. Again, just a super high end board. So I'm really excited to tell you guys all about this. Definitely stay tuned for that next week. And then I'll also be taking a look at something on the complete opposite spectrum. Is the Tribit Stormbox Micro 2, which is a portable speaker. And we reviewed some of these in the past, and I always like these. These are the perfect thing for summer, for being outside. And this one's decent. I wish I had it because it's decently small, but I've been using it for the past 2 weeks, and it is loud, and it has a lot of for being so small. It has a lot of bass. You can feel the bass. It's really weird because I have portable speakers that are much bigger, and they don't sound half as good as this. And it has this little band on the back that you can wrap it around like a bike, your handlebars on your bike. So you can have it when you're biking. Cool. You can put it around a strap on a backpack if you're hiking. There's a bunch of stuff. It's IP67 rated. Here you can see it on the bike, backpack, all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that as well next week. We might have some other stuff on the site too. So yeah, that brings us to the end here. Talk about any tech. Did you do anything tech related?
I feel like this week just flew by, and I don't think I did anything tech related. No, I did a little more playing of than anything, but
isn't that fun when you get a gaming related product?
Oh yeah,
to review, I have to test it, so I have to play games.
Test this. Yep.
I tested out the GoPro because we talked about the GoPro last week.
So I remember the green screw.
So I used it around the house, but that's not outside. It's not, so I went to the beach yesterday and I tested this. I tested a bunch of stuff. So I'm going on a trip, which we'll talk about, but I got these awesome trail running shoes. I tested those yesterday. I got a new camera backpack. I tested that, and I tested obviously this, and the quality. And I showed this to you yesterday. I shared some clips that I took with this. The quality out of this thing, just out of the camera for an action for this little camera that I can fit in my pocket. It's really good, and it shoots 5.3K. That's what those are all 5.3K. It's really good for a small camera.
I need to watch them on my 4K screen now. I watched them on a 1080 screen.
Oh yeah.
So again.
Only thing I don't like about this, and again, my only other comparison was the DJI, the original Osmo Action, their original action camera, is that this thing, and again, I am recording in 5.3K, and 5.3K at 60 FPS. This thing eats batteries.
As I say, does it get hot?
It gets hot, and that was an issue. But I'm out using this outside, so it gets hot, but it doesn't shut down
not crazy,
anything like that. But it does eat batteries. So I bought another. When I bought it in a pack that had 2 batteries, but I bought a third one for this trip. So we'll see how it goes. But definitely really cool. Really cool little
Yeah, I just threw it up on my 4K, and it looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, it looks really good. So
yeah.
I'm excited to use that. So we talk about coming up, guys, next week. No podcast. Ryan is going. Is this like a birthday trip, or is it just like yeah?
I mean, no, just going out of town for.
Can you? Are you gonna tell everybody where you're going?
Just going to the lake.
What lake?
Table Rock. I mean, it's like 5 hours away, so it's a pretty popular lake in this area.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Town around there is Branson, so it's kind of like a more wholesome Vegas type of.
So
it's kind of like cheesy stuff. Like from my viewpoint, there's a lot of like shows with dancing and like the singing family. There's a
Titanic museum there. I looked it up.
There is. Yep. There's a lot of those over the top.
Dolly Parton world.
Dolly Parton. Yep. There's all sorts of stuff.
There's an amusement park.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going to Silver Dollar City. Yep.
Yeah. So we were talking about this, and I had never heard of Branson before that movie. Whatever that movie is that I sent you. That
I don't know what it was from, but I recognize the guy.
Yeah, well, that movie was filmed in Pittsburgh. That's why, but whatever that movie is, and he's like, they're about to go on this trip with like his ex-girlfriend he hates, and they're all wearing shirts that say like Branson bound. We got to get one of those for Ryan to wear on his trip for the whole family. But yeah, so next week no podcast because Ryan is going away, and then the following week no podcast because I'm going away. So So yeah, 2 weeks with no podcast. We'll have some video content for you guys. Where
are you going? You're going to the desert, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm going to Sedona for about a week with a bunch of friends from back home, running a suite. I love like renting Airbnbs instead of like going to a hotel. So we got this awesome cabin, like Airbnb. Pretty pumped about that. Yeah, so cool. I'll be hiking, being in the desert, taking photos, doing all that kind of stuff. So definitely, I'm really excited. That's why, like I said, that's why I got this like GoPro. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for it. So cool. So yeah, so 2 weeks. 2 weeks, no podcast. We'll have some video content for those days that we're not podcasting. We'll have some stuff for you guys there. But yeah, guys, we are going to jump over to Twitch. If you guys don't know, every week, typically we play some games after we do the podcast. So it's twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. You can go over there and just keep on hanging out with us, play some games. Going to be some pretty mediocre gameplay. In the chat is Shinny. He'll be playing with us as well. So yeah, guys, head on over there again, twitch.tv/ThinkComputers. We'll see everybody in like 3 weeks, which seems like so far away, but I guess, yeah. So we'll see everybody in almost a month. But thank you guys for listening. Of course, thanks to everybody who is in the live chats. And we'll see you in just, like I said, in a little bit if you're coming on Twitch. If not, almost a